I've been working on a special project examining the growing influence of Christian nationalism in America. Christian nationalism is an ideology rooted in the belief that our country was founded as a Christian nation and that our laws and institutions should reflect Christian values. Starting off with the assassination of Charlie Kirk last year. Experts say it was a pivotal moment for the movement and an occasion where the tragedy of his loss unified Christian nationalists and the Trump administration as they honored him.
Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder why CNN ratings are circling the pooper? Is it any wonder why executives at Warner Brothers Discovery, which currently owns this steaming turd, at least for now, is it any wonder why those executives are looking to dump this dump of a network? According to Pampers Brown, who is really excited about her upcoming documentary this weekend, unfortunately though for Pampers, the documentary is going to be airing on CNN, so it's pretty much guaranteed no one is going to see it. According to Pampers, there is an existential threat to democracy in America. There is a crisis. There is an enemy looking to maintain control of the land that they stole from Native Americans, or as CNN and Major League Baseball prefers to call them, the Guardians. If you believe CNN, the serious threat to America, it's not deacons at Woke United Methodist. It's not the paid agitators causing constant chaos in the streets of major cities. It's not doofus politicians like Timmy Walls, or as he calls himself during his masculine menstrual cycle, Tammy. It's not doofus Democrats who are dividing the country and who refuse to enforce the law. According to CNN, the existential threat to democracy in America is something called white Christian nationalists. Translation, people who believe and who follow Jesus and love America. You know, every Sunday morning, I am surrounded by white Christian nationalists in church. You know how many times I have felt threatened? None. This is one of the many reasons that CNN can't draw flies to a fresh turd. This is one of the many reasons that Warner Brothers Discovery is looking to dump this dump. Headline at Business Insider: Warner Brothers worried employees will quit if it accepts Paramount's offer. Unfortunately, the article doesn't specify which employees are threatening to quit if Paramount merges with CNN. Right now, Warner Brothers is considering two offers to purchase CNN along with other cable networks and streaming services like HBO Max. Netflix has offered to pay $72 billion, while Paramount is offering $78 billion. Now, from what I understand, Warner Brothers was leaning towards accepting the Netflix offer, even though they're offering $6 billion less. But there are major concerns that merging with Netflix wouldn't receive regulatory approval, government approval, I guess. Now, according to the New York Post, executives at Paramount, they are confident that their offer is going to be accepted, which could be devastating news to the woke welfare collectors at CNN. Paramount is owned by Skydance Media, which is owned by David Ellison. Davey is a big supporter of the Trumper. Now, I'm sure you've heard about some of the recent controversy at CBS, how CBS is going through quote-unquote restructuring, how CBS is easing their embrace of the woke wiener to be a more conservative-leaning news network. We could see the exact same thing happen at CNN if this deal goes through with Paramount. The good news is CNN might actually have a chance to survive. The Titanic might not sink. The strategy that Uncle Casey suggested 4 or 5 years ago of eradicating the woke fungus from CNN, that strategy might come to fruition. Bad news is, those infected with the woke fungus, those at CNN dealing with incurable cases of stage 4 OMB, Orange Man bad, they could be looking for new jobs. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Fluffer Noggin. I am not a big snacker. I don't eat a lot of junk food, but there are times during the week when I'm too busy to stop and eat lunch. I need something quick and easy, but also filling enough to get me to dinner. One thing I have found that fills me up, beef jerky. Problem is, a lot of beef jerky tastes like you're biting into a flat tire. Good news is, I no longer had that problem because I started buying gourmet beef jerky from Fluffer Noggin. Now, you're probably wondering, what the hell is a Fluffer Noggin? Fluffer Noggin is gourmet beef jerky that is 100% made in America. You don't have to worry about consuming foreign cows. All these cows are homegrown. Each recipe from Fluffer Noggin is handcrafted with the perfect amount of seasoning. It's the first beef jerky I've ever tasted that literally melts in your mouth. Fluffer Noggin comes in a variety of flavors, ranging from mango habanero, Korean barbecue. They even have a flavoring of craft beer. Or, if you're like me, you'll just stick with the original style flavoring. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Use my promo code BTL30, BTL30. Receive 30% off your first purchase with Fluffer Noggin. Full transparency here. I don't know much about corporate mergers. Uncle KC hasn't worked in corporate America in almost 5 years now. And if I'm fortunate enough to maintain the support of this incredible audience, I hope I never have to return to working in corporate America. But one thing I do know about corporate mergers, one thing that is pretty much guaranteed anytime a company is bought out, whether it's a small mom and pop or a multi-billion-dollar cable news dump, the one thing that you can pretty much guarantee, change. And in most cases, one of the first changes made are with current employees. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you spend $78 billion to purchase a network like CNN, who has suffered through years of huge embarrassing failure, it's only natural that you want to bring in people that you trust. You want to bring in people that are capable of putting out this flaming ass fire. You damn sure don't want to keep the people who are responsible for melting the polish off this turd. You know, people like the donut diva Brian Stelter. If this deal goes through with CNN, Paramount has promised their investors an immediate $6 billion in synergies. Well, Uncle KC, what the hell are synergies? In corporate America, that is a polite way of saying we're cutting costs, which is a polite way of saying we're cleaning house. According to Business Insider, these cost savings are likely coming from workforce reductions, headcount reductions. Translation: people are getting fired. Now, I'm sure a lot of these reductions will happen behind the scenes. CBS already has producers. They already have journalists, internal staffers. They're not going to keep everyone working at CNN. But I'm more interested to see if there will be any changes made with on-air talent, which is where CNN has been struggling for years. Earlier this week, it was announced that Andy Cooper was leaving 60 Minutes on CBS. Now, Andy claimed that he was leaving broadcast television to spend more time with my family. Couple of days later, Business Insider reports that executives at Warner Brothers are very concerned that employees are going to quit if CBS is allowed to buy CNN. What a coincidence. Now, could the future of someone like Caitlin Collins, Katie Roo, could the girl named Rue take a break from polishing the turd to polish her resume? Now, to her credit, Rue's ratings have drastically increased in the last couple of weeks, but she has a very contentious relationship with Don Trump, who happens to be close friends with her new potential boss, David Ellison. Some so-called stars at CNN, they could just outright quit because they won't agree with the new direction of the network, which would be reporting the news instead of creating the news. Let me show you an example of how normal people are treated at CNN. Earlier this week, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, he was part of the panel on Abby Phillips' Primetime Dump. I guess the American hero Scott Jennings, I am a real American. I guess the American hero was busy that night, or maybe he was being treated for symptoms of the woke fungus after months of being exposed to people at CNN who are spreading the disease. My inside sources, they are telling me that the American hero's immune system, very strong, unbeatable. Doctors expect him to make a full recovery. He will not be infected, and the American hero, he will return to humiliating woke welfare collectors at CNN very, very soon. All kidding aside, Kevin O'Leary, he's on the panel, and they're talking about the humiliation of AOC LGBT in Europe last weekend. Now, of course, one of the yentas on The View, she was trying to convince CNN's dwindling audience that AOC just made a mistake. She made a boo-boo. Kevin O'Leary was speaking the truth and explaining why AOC is not qualified to be the leader of a troop of Girl Scouts, much less leader of the free world. And this is how Kevin O'Leary was treated for speaking the truth. Watch for yourself.
She's not a foreign policy expert.
Clearly.
And so,
no,
she's
clearly.
she's not.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Come on, give her a break.
You guys, this is
You don't even know who's
exhausting.
running in
You're
Texas,
exhausting.
okay?
So there's a ton of things you don't know. Stop being so condescending.
Yeah,
you know,
for 5 seconds, let somebody finish their thoughts before you have to be rude.
You're right. She was fabulous.
It's not about her being fabulous. It wasn't.
Say something here.
It wasn't about
Let's
her
say
being
you're hired to
fabulous.
give us. Oh wow.
Which I'm
My
not
last
sure.
word is you're all nuts. Like that's just.
Oh my God.
Thank
you, Kevin. That's
Guys,
Am I in on
please.
that? Okay.
Look, we got to keep it together here, okay?
We are. Too
late.
Honestly, I mean, there's a way to talk about these things. If you don't have anything to say, just say that, and I won't come to you next time.
Yes, Kevin, they are nuts, and that is the main problem at CNN. This is a network filled with people who are out of their minds. This is a network filled with unknowns who are paid propagandists. It would be one thing if CNN had 1 or 2 radicals, but instead, they've got 1 or 2 normal people surrounded by lunatics, and they wonder why people aren't watching. And why is Abby Phillips so condescending anytime a toxically masculine male speaks? Oh, Kevin, that is so rude. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. There ain't nothing nice about the woke fungus. If I was surrounded by these people, I'd be angry too. If this deal goes through and Paramount is allowed to purchase CNN, which would basically mean that CNN and the new and improved CBS would merge, if that happens, maybe CNN has a chance to survive. Otherwise, they will continue with the same strategy. They'll continue featuring the same unknowns that are responsible for destroying this once polished turd. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.